Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Meaningful Conversations with yours truly, Singinlisa. I'm glad to be with you, of course, as always, because we have an opportunity to share news and information that will impact you, empower you, and motivate you. And we definitely want to do that. And our guests with us today are going to do that for you and everyone
Come.
involved. So we want to definitely say thank you for stopping by. Welcome or welcome back if you have been here with us and enjoyed the conversations we've been having. We are excited to have with us Pastor of Original Morning Star Baptist Church, who is going to be hosting its sixth annual Stop the Violence rally. And this food supply giveaway is going to be taking place on October 29th at SAMPSON Playground, which is 3211 Treasure Street, and that's in New Orleans from 12 until 4. Now, what you need to do is say hello and welcome to Pastor Tyrone Smith, who is the pastor and handling this next generation Original Morning Star opportunity. Thank you for joining us, Pastor. How are you?
I'm great, and thank you for letting us come on.
Absolutely. And also, we want to say welcome to Pastor Chuck Morse of the New Birth Baptist Church. And he, along with the pastor, I'm sure more is always better when you're fighting for a good cause. So welcome,
Yes.
Pastor Morse, and thank you for joining us.
No, thank you so much for having us. And you're correct. We have to come together, and more is better. So it's good to be with you this evening.
Great. Well, Pastor, we have had this conversation before. I think we've had a slight interruption called the pandemic by a couple of years, but we have been able to, in the past, discuss about the importance of what it is you're doing. For those that may not be as familiar, would you tell everyone and share with them why you started this 6 years ago and what is your motivation to continue?
Now, I started this 6 years ago because I seen a dire need that people need to be educated on violence, and I just believe that it was a God-given passion that I had after seeing so much violence and going on in the community, especially right where I grew up at. And so that was kind of motivated me to try to reach out and save the next generation. And we can talk about it in the four corners of our churches or in our homes, but until we get out there in the community and educate um, those kids about violence, they'll never be able to stop it. And so
Amen.
that's my passion for doing that, because if I could just save one and keep them from either going to an early grave or going to the penitentiary for the rest of their life. And that's one of the things too, reason why I'm so passionate about it, because I want to tear down mass incarceration. And so that's the reason why I do what I do.
Wow, that is, valiant. That's definitely from the heart. And so, of course, you have armor bearers and you have support right here as well in Pastor Morse. And so, would you share with us how did you get involved and how long have you been involved and what motivates you to continue this fight?
But first and foremost, what motivates me to continue this fight is my belief in Jesus Christ. The motivation comes from seeing young men and women who are so talented, so gifted, and many times those gifts are deferred, those talents are deferred because of criminal activity, whether they're the victim or whether they are the perpetrators. We know that through statistics, it tells us that if we can go out there and educate people and help people along their journey, I believe that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So us being out there in Sampson Park in a couple of weeks, sharing school supplies, but also we are excited that we're going to be giving away kids' coats also at that event. I'm also executive director of Thrive New Orleans. And every day our mission is to help people go from surviving to thriving through workforce development, small business development. And also we work a lot with returning citizens. Pastor Smith is one of my biggest partners. I would say we're each other's biggest cheerleaders in this effort to make sure that we can decrease recidivism, but also make sure that people who are returning home can have an opportunity, can have a shot, and we can remove barriers to their ability to make a living and also take care of their families.
Yes, thank you so much. And you mentioned the word barriers, and I'm wondering if 6 years ago as well as even today, what do you think are barriers that continue preventing or causing our young people or just people in the community to even think that maybe there just is not enough of assistance or support or resource for them? What is the barrier? Is it just, tangible? Is it mental? A combination? Could you speak to that?
Well, if you will let me, and I'll defer to Pastor Smith shortly. What we do is that, and part of what we see is we need a village. We need a group of people around them. That's why I'm so happy to partner with Pastor Smith here, who I have a lot of respect for. But in the work that we do, we know that people are facing challenges. People are facing mental health challenges. That's why we have behavioral health therapists as part of the work that we do. People need life coaches. So that's why we have life coaches that meet the people where they are. And also jobs. Some folks believe that they can't obtain a job that pays a livable wage. So that's why we're out there really working with corporations, working with the city to make sure that we can connect the dots. Thank God for the city. There is the box. You can't check the box anymore. And so people have an opportunity really to get out there. And we've seen people who've had the opportunity and they are able to get out there and flourish and grow and be able to be really reliable and also tangible and successful citizens in our city. So I think it's all about us pouring into them and helping them along their journey. And so that's what we do every day. And that's why I'm glad to partner with Pastor Smith in this effort.
All of what you had just mentioned is really what's needed. And the Bible teaches us that my people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge. And the reason why it's the crime is so prevalent in the neighborhood is because they have misleading information. The streets are lying to them every day, thinking that they have to carjack, they have to sell drugs, they have to kill and steal. And until we able to show them a better way and bring them to the table and let them see life in a different perspective, they'll never embrace change. And so the only thing they see every day is gang violence and killing and murders. And so they adapt to that and they become a part of them until, like Pastor Chuck, the Drive organization, what he's doing every day over there, giving guys a chance, putting them on work, letting them earn a salary while they're taking a trade, and all this kind of stuff, enlighten them to see that somebody really cares for me. And that's one of the reasons why we came with the Stop the Violence rally, because when we out there, we are showing we care about you. And my organization, another the nonprofit organization, the First 72 Plus, I bring a lot of men that comes out of prison to share their stories with these guys. And when they hear all the time that they spent in prison, they don't want to go. So just the idea to just to educate, nobody's educating. Everybody is running away from them. And how far can we run? And then until we sit there and embrace them and show them that they are somebody, that we love them, that we care for them, and that's when the change start taking place.
Yes, well, I agree, and thank you both for sharing that. You said so many wonderful nuggets and so many important points, and just really thinking about impact. Thinking about the connection, thinking about the village, thinking about. I'm reminded of stories that we learned growing up about how influence makes a difference. That's a big popular word today, but it's been around, for quite a long time. Influence, people who are connected to someone else. And we've all had that growing up, looking at our teachers or our parents or our friends, and we were influenced by somebody. We were touched in some way that made us think we could either do it, whether that was good or bad. And so, what you're saying is so true, that people and our children and our people in the neighborhood maybe are not looking at the right influences, or they're not following the right influences, or not believing in the ones that really do offer hope for a really productive and successful future, as you all are with what you're offering. And so it really obviously takes a village, because it seems as though we can't just lean on what the mother can do and just what the father can do and just what that one household can do. We grew up with other people, and being encouraged and inspired and influenced, again, as I said, by what other people were doing. And it made us want to be successful in whatever our gifts Would you agree with that?
I think that one of the things you said is so profound is that yes, we had influences coming up. Yes, we had sometimes we had the village already there. We had teachers. If it wasn't for my teacher, I wouldn't have gone to undergraduate school. There's people who helped me when I was at a HBCU. So now many of our people don't have influences or positive role models. So that's why our brother Smith and I will have to go out and touch people, show people that we care about them, show that they people that we can trust in them, because we want to be their influencer. We want to influence them to do the right thing. We want to influence them by, as Brother Smith mentioned, that we have a program which Earn and Learn. We're going to pay you while you learn. We're going to feed you throughout the day. We're going to give you a bus ride to go over to Delgado to get heavy equipment class. We're going to give you all the certificates. We're going to bring the job human resources people to you, and you're special. They are coming to you because you are good, you are talented. Until they get people around them that they really can trust, and they see game coming 100 miles away. You got to be real. And if we can be real with them and get to them and show them that we're trustworthy by showing trust, then we can start getting influence their lives. So we can be those influencers that can help them get to the next level.
Beautiful. So, Pastor Smith, you are, there's a lot of activity going on behind you, and in the background, y'all may hear some sounds of action, and that's just because of the man that he is. He's taken the time, even in the midst of being celebrated and recognized and honored, and we definitely thank you for that, because we know it means much when people give back, as we've already been talking about, influencing others. And you obviously have done that to the people in your congregation and community, because they're taking the time to recognize you. And you said this was your anniversary on church coming up tomorrow?
Yes. 16 years.
Wow. Amazing. Well, 16 years is not anything to blink at. And, it just means that you've been dedicated for a long time, a number of years. And so, as the song says, you're not tired yet, right?
No.
Fantastic.
One thing about him is that he also is a uniter. So we had planned to have something at our church on that day. And he asked me, he says, Chuck, why don't we come together as a group of churches in the Ninth Ward to come together? And I was like, that's a great idea. We have to show unity ourselves too if we want to influence. We can't say that we want people to come together when we can't come together ourselves. And that's something that he's a uniter. He's someone that can galvanize people together. And if he asks you to come to places, you know what? He has the respect amongst clergy and other people to say, okay, I will show up just for Pastor Smith. So that's special.
Very special. Well, by this being the 6th year of the giveaway, and I love that it's connected to the school supply. I believe that it's been a long time that we continue to see that teachers are always the ones giving. They're always pulling out of their personal pockets and incomes to continue to make sure that the students have the basic needs. And it's just unbelievable that in this day and time, that still is such a high demand. And so it's a blessing that you are still on the wall, fighting and making sure that children have what they need, so that there's no excuse for them to, succeed in the fact that they don't have the supplies, because that's a part of the combination. And the other part is really knowing that somebody cares, knowing that they are loved, as Pastor Morse said, that you are special, you have an important gift. And I find that with all that's happening in the world today, there's so much competition to be the best, to be better than. And a lot of times, I remember I just shared a message on when we were finishing school. We wanted to look at that yearbook because we wanted to know where our place was in the book. How did our picture look? We were voted the best to do this, the most likely to do this. And so I think a lot of young people, maybe don't have that experience to be excited about what are you most likely to become. And so what you all are doing is so strategic and important in really aiming the focus on them as an individual so that they understand it's not about outdoing somebody else, but really discovering who they are, who God created them to be, so that they can actually walk in their purpose. They don't hear these terms and these phrases to understand that it really does mean that they were created for something special. So it goes to be applauded that you're continuing the effort to shine the light on the fact that everybody was created for a real specific reason. And I love the school and the earning to learn and all of that, because I think trade schools probably got overshadowed by college, and that should be, something that everybody knows they have an option either way to discover who they are and what they're supposed to do.
And I think also the onus is incumbent upon us also to make sure that, you talk about your yearbook and you talk about going to school and college and all that. But for some of the people that we're dealing with, they have not had that experience, as you just mentioned. We have to create that atmosphere for them and that opportunity for them. So when they graduate from our programs or go through our church and be part of whatever, we got to celebrate that. We got to celebrate that. We got to give them that same kind of feeling that you got when you cross the stage and wherever you cross. We got to make sure they get that, because that builds you up. It helps see that you're relevant and that you can do something. So I'm always, and I know Pastor Smith is also, trying to figure out how to make people feel special and how to help them see as they progress and make sure they have some of the same experiences that I had in my life when I was able to feel success and really feel deep that, hey, I can do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Pastor, share with us some of the giveaways that young people can look forward to, and why they need to line up early, because I know they're going to be good things.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have, like Pastor Morse said, coats for the kids, school supply. We're gonna have food, games, jumping jacks, and a whole lot of other vendors and folks that's going to come by. We're going to be registering people to vote. We have the vote organization that they're going to be there. And we've been just talking to some other pastors, a lot of pastors in the Ninth Ward. They're going to be there. And we just want everybody to just come out. And one of the main reasons why I started this Stop the Violence rally, because if I could just get them to come rally and thinking that they're going to get a book pack, but when they get there, we could introduce them to Jesus. And it was an evangelist tool to grow the church. So when they see that you have a church that care about them, they don't mind coming to visit your church. So I just want to challenge all pastors everywhere to come out and be a part of that. It may have a soul or member with your name on it that don't want to come to my church, but may want to come to Newbridge or some other church, and they might not be from the Ninth Ward, might be from the Seventh Ward or the Third Ward. They could go to that church. We just want to offer Jesus to them, and it's a good evangelist tool. When people see that pastors are out there caring about them, because they've been peeing on pastors forever, talking about we don't do nothing, we pimping, but now we are taking excuses off the table. We showing them that we are out here, we care. Now come out here and talk to us. You guys concerns, come on and talk to us. So we're gonna have some of everything. I've been talking to just about everybody that could bring anything, because anything is better than nothing. So, and just the idea that you showing up and talking to them. I know it did me all the good when I was making my transition, when I was able to go to places and they had dignitaries there, and I just feel like, wow, look at me. I'm around all these people who got degrees and elected officials and stuff like that. And it really got the wheels to start spinning in my head that I have to make. I was on the wrong side of the street. And so when they showed me this other side out there, well, I ain't never going back. So we're going to have some of everything, but we mainly just want them to show up and come on and be blessed. And we're going to definitely have a good time in the Lord.
Well, that is awesome, and it's exciting. And again, everyone, we want you to take part, because I think, Pastor, you said before the pandemic, there were maybe about 2,500 people that showed up.
Yes.
Incredible. Very necessary, and I'm excited about that. And everyone, of course, we want you to know that you can share this video podcast. You can on all social media platforms. You can definitely do all the things like, subscribe, and let somebody know that this is the place that you can be impacted, you can be empowered, and of course, we want you to stay motivated and stay focused because there is a need for all that you do. And so, Pastor Morris, I want to give you an opportunity as well to share again. You mentioned a few of your programs, or are there ways that people who might be interested can get in touch with you to learn more about all that you offer?
Sure. Thrive New Orleans is the name of the organization. We have several different programs. We have a small business development program. We really help a lot of small businesses. We are a prime contractor for the city around sustainability and resiliency. We also have a workforce program. We are the city's national disaster resilience operator, which really means that we're tasked with training over 175 people for jobs and stormwater management, green infrastructure. And that's what we do over at our community center in partnership with Give and Hope in 3600 Desire Parkway, right down the street from SAMPSON Playground. You can get in touch with us by going to our website at www.thrivenola.org. And as Pastor Smith said, that we really meet people where they are, and we try our best to help them get to the next level. We believe in removing barriers. We believe in going deeper with people. I think sometimes people like to scrape the surface and check boxes, but we believe that people aren't boxes and they are not surfaces to be scraped. If we really want to change, we have to go deeper and help people get past whatever their challenges they have. We have to provide and go deeper for them. So please go to our website, thrivenola.org, and take a look at all the things that we have to offer.
Fantastic. And also, do you have a physical church that invites members, and what are the service times?
Sure. Physical church is New Birth Missionary Baptist Church on 3320 Johnny Jackson Jr. Boulevard now, formerly known as Louisa. We have church at 10 a.m. every Sunday morning, and we have a Bible study at 6 p.m. on Thursday evenings. I would welcome anyone to come. We believe that it's nice to be nice, and my phrase is, I love you, and you can't do anything about it.
Amen. I love it. I'll take it. Well, Pastor,
and I don't even want to give my address and thing, because Pastor Chuck is just starting out. He's trying to grow his church, so he needs some members to come there. So, and it's easier to find his church than my church. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
So just give him that address again, Pastor Newberg.
3320 Johnny Jackson Boulevard, formerly Louisa Street or Louisa Avenue, right there near Higgins and Johnny Jackson Jr. Boulevard. The church has been there for a while. I've been the pastor for nearly a year now, and it's a wonderful place to be.
Fantastic.
And his church is my church.
Amen.
Right, and his church is my church also.
Amen. I love it. Well, that's what we need. We definitely need that. And everyone, all information will be in the notes in the descriptions below. So we'll be able to, print that and have that available for you. But again, Pastor, we want to say that, congratulations. And we definitely want to know, as we close, what do you think? Has the impact been different for you since the pandemic, and maybe what were some of the benefits that you found out of having to, I guess, go more digital or more on the side of social media?
I kept telling myself that this is for the furthering of the gospel. So I was more afraid of the COVID. I mean, catching COVID than the church going to close, and I just kept on repeating, this is for the gospel. So we touching more people now because we're going digital. And so we just kept the pace and continue on doing what we're doing. We just couldn't have the crowds of people like now that we're expecting to get on the 29th at SAMPSON Playground.
And Pastor, what about you? You're just starting in terms of being a pastor, but I'm sure you've been a minister for quite a long time.
I also want to give a shout out to Union Baptist College and Theological Seminary, where I'm a professor also. Many African-American pastors have come through those doors at Union Baptist College and Theological Seminary. Yes, one of the things I noticed is that we have, through Facebook and Facebook Live and through other social media avenues, that there are people that are engaging I'm not from New Orleans. I am from DC. So that there, because of Facebook Live and because of the COVID keeping people going to church, I have family members from all over the country or the world who tune in to our church services on Sunday. And then we have members that are out of town also that tune in. So this is just another avenue for people to tune into. Now, we want you to come into the church. We don't want you to forsake the assembly of the congregation. But we also know that people who cannot get out, and now they really have a chance. And people who are not local, and they really want to hear what's happening in their family local church, they can tune in and be part of what's going on and hear the message and feel like they're still part of the family. And we can give them shout outs all the time and things like that. So they can respond through the Zoom stuff that we do too.
That's great. Well, yeah, I think that the opportunity to extend the hand a lot further around the world is really present and a viable benefit for everyone who can take advantage of it. And so again, everyone, we want you to, take notes. I'm going to flash that flyer across the screen so you can see and know exactly where you need to be on October 29th, and bring all of the children, bring everybody who needs a backpack. And I might need one too. And so
and a coat too. And a coat.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I think people will welcome the cold weather. We've been waiting a while on that. So they'll enjoy getting a coat. But again, it's been a pleasure. Pastor, any final words?
I just want to keep us lifted up in prayer. Just want to thank you once again for allowing us to be here.
Yes, great. Well, pastors, both of you, again, thank you for being my guest, and everyone, thank you for listening and joining us again on Meaningful Conversations. And of course, share this again, as we said, with everyone. And do remember, you can come back here for more the next time and anytime. So again, be blessed and stay encouraged. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you, Pastor.